Around the early 2000s, the coaster wars was really starting to heat up, and every park wanted to build the most tallest, fastest coaster in the planet. And taking it a step further, meanwhile, Six Flags was in a world of hurt and suffered really badly through the 2000s, and apparently they decided to go ahead and sell assets, including Geauga Lake, or what Six Flags calls it, Six Flags Worlds of Adventure at the time, and of course Six Flags Astroworld, as well as Six Flags Kentucky Kingdom, which that part got saved from different owners, and Six Flags New Orleans, which they left completely abandoned. But it's all going to be coming down as of late. And the new owner was about to take shape. It's none other than Dan Snyder, who you probably recognize on his works on Salmon Cat, iCarly, and a ton of other Nickelodeon shows. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. It's actually the other Dan, who apparently worked for the NFL team at the time, the Washington Redskins, which is now today as the Washington Commanders, would take control of the Six Flags branding. And let me just say that it was a disaster. But I'll talk about that in a future video. Moving on, in 2004, a Six Flags park called Six Flags Great Adventure was looking to plan a brand new roller coaster for their park, and possibly an e-ticket attraction. And somehow, it seems like Six Flags founded their option.
Introducing Top Thrill Dragster.
In 2003, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio would open up Top Thrill Dragster, a roller coaster that goes up 400 feet tall, and quickly was a huge success. And it was all thanks to the Stratocoaster, made by the company Intamin, which was a company that was founded in 1967, and it was founded by three guys named Robert Spieldiner, if I can pronounce that right, Reinhold Spielnitter, and Alphonse Sancho, and has made really awesome roller coasters over the years, and still there in the coaster industry as of today. But anyways, Six Flags Great Adventure wanted to destroy the height of Top Thrill Dragster, and so they decided to call Intamin, and the project was underway. And apparently, they thought Intamin's brand new, at the time, hydraulic launch system that they used on Dragster was revolutionary to them. So with that, Six Flags put a whopping $25 million into the project with the help of Intamin. And so, on September 29th, 2004, Six Flags Great Adventure announced their new coaster, Kingda, and will be the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster on Earth. And somehow, this announcement occurred at an event for the park, and they didn't just want just that coaster alone. They wanted a new land area as well, called the Golden Kingdom. Apparently, coaster enthusiasts took notice, and the project took 11 acres of land. And the CEO of Six Flags, Kieran Berkey, said, quote, "This is the first step in the process of really transforming Six Flags Great Adventure from the largest regional theme park in the world to a regional destination." And so, construction officially began, with the help of Intamin, of course. Then, around January 13th, 2005, workers officially completed Kingda's tower, with also a ceremony for their achievement. It's also designed by Werner Stengel, who has designed other coasters. Apparently, the coaster had soft opening on May 19th, 2005 for previews. But then, on May 21st, 2005, Kingda opened to guests, along with the Golden Kingdom area, and it was a massive, massive success, and quickly became everyone's bucket list at Great Adventure. And also, it's a similar track layout to what inspired it from Great Adventure Top Thrill Dragster. But let's talk about the roller coaster, shall we? It starts off when you enter to the queue, and you apparently hear soundtracks from the music artist Safari Do. No joking, actually. And then you enter to your ride vehicle, and your roller coaster experience truly begins as you enter to the launch. But then it announces,
Launch set.
and then get ready for 0 to 128 miles per hour and 0 to 206 kilometers and 3.5 seconds. And then you enter to the top hat, which is at 456 feet. Then you go down a 270-degree clockwise spiral. And then you enter to the airtime hill, which is at 129 feet. And that, my friends, is Kingda. However, even though that the general public extremely loved the coaster, it also put a damper on the maintenance of the coaster, since it used the technology on Dragster. But anyways, something did occur in June 8th, 2005, with an incident that occurred, involving the bolt failed inside of the trough through its launch cable, which has caused the linear to come loose and creating a friction on the cable, preventing the train of the coaster to accelerate to the correct speed. And to make matters worse, the cable running against the trough apparently caused sparks and shorts from the metal to fly out of the bottom of the train. Due to this, it was closed for 2 months after the incident. But unfortunately, there's more. Another damage happened involving the launch cable, and what happened this time, buddy? Allegedly, it was frayed and required replacement, and has a minor damage to the seals and brake fins. And oh wait, this incident caused stress on a number of the fins, which caused a lot of stress on Six Flags, because they didn't have enough of the replacement of the fins. Good job, guys! Which means the coaster was again down, and you see the pattern here? It wasn't an easy coaster to fix. Now, if you want to learn more on why this coaster was a pain, I highly recommend you check out El Toro Ryan's YouTube video on how this coaster was problematic. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out after the video is done. And also go support his channel. He really does some pretty good videos. Highly recommend it. Anyways, moving on from all the incidents of the attraction, and don't worry, we'll come back to them. Eventually, let's talk about something that happened in 2014. As Sumanjaro Drop a Doom opened around the top hat, but eventually, for any loose article's sake, once the drop tower goes, Kingda would have to wait for the train to run when the drop tower is done. But then, let's talk about some of the interesting events that occurred with this attraction. In August of 2011, Kingda suffered unexpected damage shortly after before Hurricane Irene, which allegedly having Six Flags Great Adventure close. However, at 5 o'clock p.m. on July 26, 2012, a young boy rode Kingda and unfortunately sending to a hospital after suffering a minor injury by being struck by a bird during the normal operation, and thankfully the attraction wasn't closed. And in 2019, a guest sued Six Flags and the company that made the attraction, Intamin, in a U.S. federal court, claiming about tall riders could be subject to extreme speed and forces, and that the harness could also cause injuries. Apparently, the guests suffered multiple back injuries. Ouch. After riding the coaster in 2017. The guest was 6 feet tall and 2 inches and 1.88 millimeters tall. After all that, both sides of the party dismissed the lawsuit, which eventually was partly granted and partly denied. And the worst year in 2020. Wow. However, this coaster would be the tallest, fastest coaster until something happened in November of 2010. Formula Rossa opened at Ferrari World, defeating the record for good for Ka. But then, eventually, in 2026, Intamin would go ahead and beat the record for the tallest coaster, which would be Falcon's Flight, which allegedly all its uniqueness of Kingda was quickly coming to an end. But however, people really didn't care, because people were immediately still going to the attraction, even if its record would be eventually broken. Most importantly, its days might actually be more questionable as time moves on. Around this year, around October of 2024, rumors were speculating that 2 roller coasters would close at Great Adventure. One would be relocated roller coaster from Kentucky Kingdom, which would be Green Lantern, a B&M stand-up coaster, and unfortunately, Kingda would be closing. And a lot of coaster enthusiasts were kind of panicking about this, but no, evidence has really not support this yet, until something happened in November of 2024, where markings around the structure of both Green Lantern and Kingda have been shown. And my reaction is,
that's no good.
But however, the truth finally came out, and it was apparent that Kingda would be closing forever. And sadly, the last days to ride, it was on November 10th on Sunday of 2024. It turns out that it was true. So many people were devastated since it was a really awesome attraction and a noteworthy history in roller coasters. And here's some of their reaction to all this.
Hey, when did you first ride Kingda Ka?
2014.
This is crazy, man.
Dude, it is.
This is literally like a funeral. Yeah, man. Yo, bring back Kingda Ka. Please, just bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Dude.
We all love Kingda Ka.
Yeah, dude. Like seriously, that right there was probably one of the saddest things I've ever done in my life. Seriously,
Right?
like
Yeah.
that felt like a legit coaster event, and it wasn't planned or anything. The enthusiast community just banded together.
We made this happen
because we knew something was happening, and we had to send it off properly.
Yes.
And the vibes tonight were like all of your top end coaster enthusiast events.
I'm sure that many of you watching this have experienced it, but I'm sure there's also a lot of you that never got to ride it. And that's the sad thing with Kingda Ka. There's so many people that have probably missed out on riding this because they didn't say. If they'd have said that, oh, 2024 is going to be the final year it operates, attendance would have been booming at the park this year because everyone would have travelled. People would have booked plane seats to go and ride that thing. But no, that's it. It's officially no more. And it has already been retired and has been closed. And like I said, I've got a statement from the park and we'll talk a bit about that later on in this video. But
this is my home.
Live the king! Long live the king!
This is just insane, the emotion, and you know.
Imagine if they announced how many more people would be here, though.
I think everybody got it out enough.
No, there were enough disbelievers. People think it's changing into something like. What's like? That's still a saying it's closing.
Long live the king! Long live the king!
And this is it. Last time I'll ever be over here.
Long live the king!
Golden Kingdom, it's been real. John doesn't like this. Nobody likes this. Saddest day I've ever had at Great Adventure. And let's not forget about Twister, about the parachutes, about Green Lantern. This is the best way to describe it is the most grand funeral send-off I've ever seen organized by fans. The fact that we were all able to put this together ourselves, the fans, the employees. This came together for our love for this ride, for the memories we've made with it, and the memories that hopefully we'll make with whatever comes next. But that is the end of the King.
No, well, I think everyone in this community. I'm crying over a roller coaster. Hello.
No, for the first time in my life, I cried on a roller coaster.
I wish I could say that was the first time.
But like most people, when they like cry on a roller coaster, it's because it like really scared them or something. And like that was like when we did that last launch, I was like, it really because before then it was just like let's get as many rides as we can. But then that last time, it was like this is it. And that's when I just felt all sorts of emotions. Like I haven't been coming here as long as you have, Sarah, but like I took my first ride on that with my dad when I was like real small.
We love him.
But like one of my favorite memories is like I came here in 2017 once with my friends Alec and Adam, and we got here and there was like a layer of fog, probably 200 feet in the air, and so we're sitting on the launch track. And you can't see the entire second half. And it was like one of the coolest things ever. Like when I think of like some of the coolest experiences I've had like at theme parks, like Kingda Ka absolutely fills like one of those spots, like just from one experience or another of like 10 years now of riding it. And like it's there at the end, like knowing that you'll never go over that top hat again. That was really, really sad.
And just like, we're just never going to see a coaster like this again. This is... it's the end of an era of like
something that's going to draw people to the park again on that side of the park. Because Green Lantern's gone. I don't know. It's sad, but as Alan was saying, I get it to a point. I see both sides, but long term, I think in 5 or 10 years from now, we'll all look back and think, you know what? We love Kingda Ka, but as a business model and the growth of the park, I think we'll be better off without Kingda Ka for that huge pot of land.
You don't want to be one of those losers who hasn't ridden Kingda Ka, because I'm fucking one of them. Yeah, believe it or not, I've never ridden Kingda Ka. I've never been to Six Flags Great Adventure. This is a park I've been wanting to visit for years, but I just never got around to it because I live all the way out in Illinois by Chicago. But I was always under the assumption that one day I can go out and ride Kingda Ka. But now I never will, and I'm kind of sad about it. Even though I have no reason to have any attachment to this coaster, I gotta say I'm pretty sentimental towards this ride. Many of you regular viewers don't know this, but Kingda Ka was actually one of the rides that got me into roller coasters. I remember when I was in the 3rd grade and I was on my family computer and I was just looking at roller coaster POVs because that's all the roller coaster content you got back in the early days of YouTube. But when I saw a video for Kingda Ka pop up in my feed, I thought this ride was the most prestigious and best coaster there ever was. Obviously today I don't think that's true. I think there are way better rides out there, but I can't deny that the tallest coaster in the world at the time was the best thing that my small mind had ever witnessed before.
As you see, my friends, this roller coaster not only was a history with coaster fans, but we may not ever see this type of coaster again. Now, allegedly, Six Flags themselves quietly said nothing about the announcement as of yet, which isn't really a good thing, since what if one person may not know that Kingda Ka is closing ever so suddenly. But anywho, I think it was a terrible thing to do that. But whatever. The last ever final train with passengers took their final farewell, and the attraction was permanently closed for good. Now, there are possible theories on why this coaster had to go. Starting with number 1, the Cedar Fair and Six Flags merger. Allegedly in 2024, as everybody knows in the theme park world, that Six Flags and Cedar Fair both merged into one company, and so some of the Cedar Fair shareholders probably looked at their portfolio from Six Flags and saw the cost for this coaster. Number 2, they wanted to have more new experiences for the park. And finally, the main reason, number 3, the attraction is really hard to maintain and very expensive to operate throughout its year of being alive. Kingda Ka has been met with so many issues, and I feel like the hydraulic launch may be on its way out, and people noticed that it was starting to be a bit rough, and I feel like it makes a whole lot of sense from a business perspective. But then somehow more updates have been occurred for Kingda Ka, as Six Flags themselves explain the reasoning behind its quiet closure, and it's likely due to the fact that it had something to do with the cost of maintenance and the hydraulic launch being a contributing factor on its closure. And there they are looking to demolish it for good. And in its place will be an all-new record-breaking launch coaster. Although, we really do not know what this coaster will be yet. But I think it's going to be amazing, whatever it is. And maybe we would all be wrong about Kingda Ka's long term. To tell you the truth, I never actually got a chance to ride this roller coaster, because unfortunately, I never actually been to Six Flags Great Adventure in my entire life. But I have heard about this record-breaking coaster, and it surely was an awesome coaster, even if I never got a chance to ride it. Everything about this coaster is a wonderful kind marvel and a unique coaster, even if it's not nowadays, with the likes of Falcon's Flight. For the Stratocoaster model, there are now 3 left in the world, those being Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm, Red Force at Ferrari Land, and Stealth at Thorpe Park. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully, none of these coasters will close, which it might actually be for a long term before their days would be numbered. So, ride them while you still can. Not like they're going to close or anything, but just in case in the future. Anyways, if you guys really enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button, so that way you won't miss any new history videos or video edits of mine. And if you want to go ahead and check out me on Instagram, because guess what? We're also over there. And I'll see you guys next time on another history video. Adios.